Welcome to Red Tower Tool Reviews. In this video, I'll be going over the differences between the Veto Pro Pac Infrared MB5B and the Tech MCTP Infrared. But before we get into the breakdown of these two bags, just a little bit about me. I am a network engineer by trade, so I am in the IT career field, which is not the targeted community, I would say, for Veto Pro Pac, but these bags just work so well for what I need. They fit everything that I want to carry, and because I travel internationally, I do want everything to be safely stowed away and not just thrown into, let's say, a Pelican case or anything that's open like that without the organization. Now, about the MB5B. I've used this bag for the past 5 months. It's been fantastic, really did enjoy it, but some of the downfalls about this bag that I didn't think about whenever I first purchased it is, number one, the storage capacity in this main compartment is absolutely fantastic. You have 4 pockets here, you have your zippered pocket down here on the flap, 4 pockets that line the back, and then I chose to have the inserts that typically come in the side pockets. I put those in here, so you have 4 large pockets down here in the front, 2 smaller pockets, and then you have a couple bit storage options as well. And you even have a little bit of storage down here. You have about 9 inches wide by about 3.5 inches deep of open storage for items down here. But the reason why I transitioned away from this bag, I like that everything is open and easily accessible. However, you have to be at eye level to access your tools for this bag. And I found that oftentimes I would get into a networking or a server room, put my bag down on the ground, and I would be like, oh, I need to go grab my crimp tools or my multimeter, whatever it was. And if this bag is on the ground and you're trying to access some tools that are back here, it becomes a little cumbersome over time. You have to squat down, look, all right, I need the one that's back over here, pull it out, and go on with your job. I have been looking at the MCTP for a while, and I was concerned that it wouldn't be able to fit all of my tools. So that's why I held off and kept using the MB5B. But if we open up the MCTP, everything that I had in the MB5B is now in here. Let's just unhook this latch. Now, you don't have the deep storage in the MCTP like you do with the MB5B, but you do have a double storage solution. So you have an area on the front, and we can go ahead and open up the back of the bag. You can see I have a couple railer bit attachments, cable labeling, and the mini Milwaukee ratcheting bit holder. This thing's fantastic, by the way. But if we open this up, have my railer magnetic mat. This thing is great and also quite literally fits perfectly in this bag. Milwaukee hammer. And the way that I have used the back of this bag now is the front side is my most common tools. This back area is things that are least common, but I still need with me. And that's really why this bag still works, even though I believe that the MB5B has more storage. This allows you to see all of your tools without having to squat down. So even if this is sitting on the floor, you're able to have clear sight of everything that you have in here. Still has pockets on the side, just like the MB5B. Even though they are a little bit smaller, I'm still able to store items in here. And you also have a couple small pockets on each side of the meter pockets. Now, if we were to get into this, I always bring a hacksaw with me because we're usually installing ladder rack of some sort. So I need my hacksaw blades. And I've chosen to go with the Klein pass-through wrenches. These are fantastic, but you'll see that I have quite a few wrench solutions depending on where we are. And I also have these in metric and SAE. But the quad pass-through sockets, they're worth their weight in gold. They really are. They're handy, they're compact. You have all of your common sizes that you're going to need, and you just really can't get away without using these in most scenarios. Let me set these aside. Now I also use the Klein pass-through socket set, and this is the adapter for that. Back here I have this also comes with the Klein pass-through socket set, and we'll see that in just a moment. Multimeter, I'm not an electrician, but we are installing electrical equipment and building out new circuits. Sometimes we have to take down old circuits, so I want to make sure that whatever's live or the voltage that I need is there. So perfect item. I have my crimpers, pass-through, RJ11, RJ45. These are 8-pin and 6-pin. I'm using these all the time by Klein Tools. This, not so much. I don't really like these, but I choose to carry them because they have the 4-pin option for RJ11, which every now and then we'll have to crimp something that's 4-pin. Non-contact voltage tester by Klein. And what's also exceptional about this is that it has a laser, and this is perfect because sometimes whenever we're trying to trace out cable or install something somewhere, it's just a lot easier to point out with a laser, hey, this is what I'm talking about up there 20 feet away from me. So another great tool. Extendable magnet, this is perfect. Everyone hates whenever you lose that one 10mm nut. And especially with working in the IT career field, it's usually in confined spaces, and you're gonna have a rack that's populated with usually about 2,500 pounds of equipment, and you can't necessarily move the rack out of the way. So this thing has saved my life over and over. Fiber light, self-explanatory. And then also I have a can wrench back here just to open up whatever telephony boxes I'm trying to get into or electrical boxes. It just makes a quick grab and go tool. And then of course I have my leads up here for the multimeter. And that's it. In the back compartment, I haven't decided what I want to put in here. At the moment, all I've put in is got these off of Amazon, speed walks. They were really cheap drill bit sets, but instead I put in the Milwaukee drill bit sets. I chose to do this just because it's super compact and I can fit it anywhere instead of having the bulky Milwaukee bit holder. And then I have these for the extreme materials, just harder metals. So these are perfect as well. Now, if I were to zip this up, like we saw, I have some railer bit holders. These are great, and I keep these on the outside in case I need to swap out any bits on the drill, the impact, or even on the Klein driver. You have one pouch on the outside along with a zipper. This zipper compartment is relatively small, and the only thing that I found to put in here so far is the USB-A to USB-C Milwaukee charger, and this is for my Milwaukee task light that I have. This compartment fits it perfectly. Love this light. I also travel with the M12 Rover light, but if I'm working in a much smaller space or I need a higher degree of flexibility, this light is usually going to help me out the best. Moving on to the side pocket here. Milwaukee tape measure. I'm a Milwaukee fanboy, if you haven't seen already, but it is what it is. This pouch came with the SC45 kit. I wear this on me every single day. I have my Knipex wire strippers in here, my flush cuts, a pin, a marker, my Klein 14-in-1, and then my Klein, I believe it's a 17-in-1 precision screwdriver that goes in here. This thing is absolutely fantastic. It's pretty well worn, so everything's flexible now. Magnetic flap on the back. I can't rave about this product anymore. I don't want to get any of the larger pouches like the MP2 or MP3 just because it becomes cumbersome, and if I'm crawling up in a ladder or into an elevated space, I don't want this dangling off of my side a lot and getting caught on things. So the slim profile, I find for my use case, is a lot better. A couple other things I have in here, little DeWalt case. This just has extra utility knife blades. Got the Speed Out Pro for stripped out screws. It works okay. I've successfully gotten out one stripped screw head, and the other time I tried to use it, it wasn't all that great. So I'll keep it in here for now, but we'll see over time how that's gonna work. And then this is a CommScope tool for building out RJ45 blocks. Now, if we move on to the front of the bag, let's kind of push the MB5B out of the way for now. 2 utility knives on the front. I always keep one on my pants and one on the bag, so that's why those are there. And again, I travel worldwide, so having everything in one location in the bag, this is how I will have it packed out permanently, and whenever I get to site, I have all of my tools on me. So just wanted to reiterate that, because for most guys, they're going to have 1, 2, or 3 Veto bags, and that doesn't work for me. I want everything to fit into a regular checked luggage. So having a small compact bag and the tools that I choose, this works best for me. But getting into here, we'll go front to back. So we have the Weehaw set of magnetic nut drivers. These are great. They don't get a lot of use, but it's one of those items I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So keep them on there. They don't take up a lot of space. They are relatively heavy for having a bag that travels internationally, but the times I need them, I'm glad that I have them. Right here, we have the Klein flip sockets along with the handle. Have both of them on here for metric and SAE. These are great, quick, interchangeable, and honestly, it doesn't take up a lot of space within the bag. Excuse the plane if you hear it in the background. Sounds like a jet flying over me right now. DeWalt 6-inch extender. I like 6-inch bit extender. I like this one over the Milwaukee just because of this collet in the bottom for releasing the bits. I find that this system works way better than the Milwaukee version. Milwaukee version, it's a little cumbersome. It's just not as good of a system as this is. Milwaukee 90-degree extender. This is great for tight access spaces, of course. Milwaukee level, I love it. Needle nose pliers, perfect. These will probably going to get swapped out for the Knipex needle nose. I just haven't chosen which model I want yet from Knipex. Got my dedicated Klein electrical strippers and crimpers. These are great because all of the wiring work that I'm doing, it's usually just for grounding equipment to the equipment racks. So most of that is going to be 10 gauge stranded from the equipment to the rack, and then from the racks to the TGB, or in my career field we call it the telecommunications ground bus bar. That's usually going to be 6 gauge. Use a different crimper for that, but this will still get the job done. Not sure if this is going to stay in here. This is for telephone and Ethernet blocks. It's all right. Comes with a Phillips and a flathead. And then on this end, you have a little spudger. And then if you were to flip this out, you've got a little pick. So it's great for picking out those fine wires, but I feel like the form factor is a little bit too big. If I find another one, or if you guys have a recommendation, please tell me, because I want the same thing, but about that large. I don't need another Phillips and flathead on there. Trusty dusty, just a solid flathead. Don't care if this breaks, gets bent, whatever. I kind of use it as a beater bar, even though it's not meant for that, but old craftsman, this thing, it's been through it, even though it looks great. New addition to the bag, Milwaukee pry bar, and this is a solid metal core, so you are able to beat on the back of this if you need to. I'm not sure how great this will work, but there's been a few times where I need to pry stuff out and I don't really have a dedicated tool for that, so it fits nicely here in the back. We'll see how it works. Gerber Tools knife, love this. This specific knife has the Gerber, let's see, the 270, no, the S30V steel. This stays sharp forever. My first one I had for, geez, I think 12 years, and it was still relatively sharp. Not only that, just the durability of the blade. If you really need to get into somewhere and pry open the tip of the blade, it's never broken on me, so I love it. Everyone already knows these, probably the most famous tools on the internet. Knipex Cobra. These things are absolutely amazing. I didn't want to spend the money on them at first, but I'm glad that I have them in here. Both of them have been used extensively on sites, and I don't think there's anything else that I would want to swap these out with. They're truly fantastic. We got a 110 66 block punch down tool. If you know, you know. IT nerds in the comments, let me know if you've used these before. I'm sure you have. Also have a Bix punch down. Both of these are used almost daily in my line of work. We have the mini Knipex. I honestly got these because I thought they were cool. I haven't used them a single time, but they're so small that if I even use them once, I'll consider it money well spent. It's probably money wasted for now until I use them, but I like it, so it'll stay in there. Milwaukee reamer. This is great. I'm not sure how long this is going to last. It feels like it's already starting to fade, but probably just get a replacement tip and throw it in there. I have some Torx in an Allen key set. These are great, especially working in server racks. A lot of the rails have to be adjusted with a T25 or T30, and you're usually in a confined space. So having Torx on a 90 degree is perfect. Love these. All right, we have the Knipex flush cuts. These go in the pouch right here on the front, just like I was saying. Actually, we'll keep this off to the side and I'll show you how I load that out. Klein wire strippers, love them. They cut everything. I'm sorry, not Klein, Knipex. Knipex wire strippers. Fantastic tool, it really is. It's worth the money. Blades are great. I've had these for about 9 months. I was using the Milwaukee wire strippers. They sell for about 18 bucks, but the handles were starting to pull off and I was having some troubles with the lock. It was separating from the metal itself. So that led me to these. Glad that I have them. These go right in here. New addition. Haven't used these yet, but I feel like I will in the near future. So we'll see in a future bag update. I don't know if these are going to stay in here, but they're Knipex. Can't go wrong with that. I've learned that from having these two other tools. Klein Precision. This will go right in here. And then we have the Klein 14-in-1, absolutely perfect tool. That will go right there. And then I have my Nebo light. This is perfect. I clip it on to side of my pants. The battery lasts forever. The light's ultra bright. We got low, medium, and high. And then you can also have ultra mode. There you go. Just a little bit brighter. One of the best spotlights, as I call it, that you can buy on the market. A little bit expensive. I believe they're sitting around $70 right now, if I'm not mistaken. This one was actually gifted to me, and it's fantastic. The charge, just for using it on medium for about a minute or two, I usually get about a week's worth of usage out of it before I have to charge this again. And then Milwaukee scissors. Great cutting cable, everything else. Up here, I just have bit holders for the drill, the impact, and I have a wobble bit attachment. All of that stays up here. And then I have my fiber adapters for the fiber light. And that's it. That's the loadout for the MCTP. Now, going back over to the MB5B, all of the tools that you've seen in the video so far, all of those were in here. And again, this bag is great. It's just not for me, because whenever I'm having this on the floor and you have to squat down and actually get eye level with the bag to view what's in here, I don't know, it's just a pain, honestly. And the other thing that I notice is that the rigidity of the bag, because the storage area is so deep, you don't have a middle column like you do with the MCTP. Right here, you get a little bit more rigidity and the bag doesn't flex really at all. But the MB5B, whenever it's loaded down and you have it open with this flap down, if you're trying to get stuff out, it's just flexing a lot more than I would like. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure Veto engineered these so that they'll last over time, but it's just a personal preference. But what you do have is more external storage. I would say that the internal storage for tools comparing the MB5B to the MCTP are about the same, but the MB5B does have more external storage. So your first flap right here, this is a large volume area. You have a neoprene sleeve, small zippered pocket that honestly doesn't fit much, fits about 3 pins in there, and then my entire hand can fit in here. So you get good storage volume in that first pocket. This pocket is also really nice and has some bit storage hidden in here. I would say the pocket's about 6 inches wide and about 2 inches deep if you really try to stuff it. But the meter pockets on this bag are considerably larger than the MCTP. You get about 2 extra inches of storage in here. So if you do have larger meters, if you're an electrician, HVAC guy, any of you that have large meters, this bag is probably going to suit you better than the MCTP. Have a small storage pocket on the outside. This is great if you want to hold some extra blades, maybe 2 M12 batteries, and that's about it. Or just some spare parts kits would fit in there. That would be nice. On the back side, obviously this is a backpack tool bag. The MCTP is not. It does come with a shoulder strap though. And I found that I almost never used the backpack straps. I thought it would be a great purchase when I first got it. I was like, oh, I can throw that on my back and then walk to different buildings or areas, and I want to have all my tools on me. But really and truly, I would leave this in one server room and it would stay there for the entire time. So backpack tool bags, I don't think I'm going to be getting into those anymore, but this does come with a nice large laptop or tablet pocket. It is about 11 inches by 10. And just for reference, this is the Railer magnetic mat, and this fits in there no problem. It is the exact dimensions of that pocket though, for reference. All right. Again, you have the same thing like you did on the other side. Tall meter pockets. Tape storage if you want. You also have your electrical tape. Another side pocket. And that's it. But for my use case, traveling around the world and still wanting visible access to my tools, the MCTP was the way to go for me. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know. If you want to see this bag loaded out with all of the tools that I had in the MCTP, that video will be coming out in the next few days, maybe a week, kind of depends on life. And also, as a reminder, at 100 subscribers, I will be randomly giving away one of 3 bags, and it's your choice. So you have the infrared MB5B, you have the infrared MCP, the big brother, as I say, to the MB5B. This thing's a beast. Or the CBLD. And I do want to talk about this bag for just a moment. In my opinion, I think this is the most unique and best bag that Veto has made so far. The reason is the interior storage is almost identical to the MB5B. Having these extra 4 pockets on the front, it's amazing. I love that about the MB5B. Honestly, it's still my favorite bag, but it just doesn't fit my use case like the MCTP over here does. But you have 8 tool storage pockets, 4 larger pockets, 8 bit storage pockets, and you have these areas on the side that can fit essentially whatever you need. Let's take the Knipex wire strippers. Perfect. The Klein 14-in-1. It's a little snug, but you could fit a couple of those in there. And this bag has side storage, storage on the front,